Hi.
Hola.
Hi, hier ist Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Puma evoPOWER 1.3 in the latest blue yonder, white, and shocking orange colorway. Now inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. And of course, here is a look at the shoes. Now this is, in my opinion, one of the more underrated top-end models currently available. The evoPOWER 1.3 is a very unique shoe in terms of what it has to offer. And of course, in today's video, we're going to talk tech specs and performance. We're going to take a look at this brand new colorway, of course, take a look at the weight, as well as how they fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more about the evoPOWER 1.3, stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, there'll be a little pop-up on screen, as well as the first link down below. That'll take you directly to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $220 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, pop up on screen, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. Starting off with the colorway, I have to say that this particular shoe does look a lot better in person than I was honestly expecting, just based on pictures that I had seen online. You have a combination of what they call Yonder blue, which is mainly here at the front of the shoe as well as on the sole plate. And it's kind of an interesting shade of blue. Obviously the upper does have somewhat of a shininess to it, especially with the grip text texturing there, that just kind of has a gloss finish to it. And the blue itself, it's kind of like a royal blue, but almost faded a little bit. Really difficult to describe. You can see you have that in the laces as well. And then within this kind of stripy pattern, you have kind of a transition point from blue into that shocking orange color, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's a bright orange. You have it here solid at the heel. The little strip right here that covers up a stitching seam with the evoPOWER 1 branding, orange in the heel liner. The tongue has a little bit of a fade to it as well. And then of course the tips of the studs, some of them at least, are orange in color, with of course the Puma form stripe in white right there on the lateral side. So all in all, it's a nice looking shoe. I think the combination of blue and orange looks quite good. There's not too much to complain about here. It's a bright shoe, but not overly over the top bright, if that makes any sense. And again, I just think it's a good combination of colors, and the final product is a pretty nice looking shoe. So let me know what you guys think of these down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, I really feel like the evoPOWER 1.3 is a very underrated shoe in today's current top-end market of soccer cleats. Now for me, this is my personal favorite shoe on offer from Puma at the moment. And what I really like about it is just the unique striking experience that it has on offer, not to mention that the shoe is extremely comfortable and also offers very, very solid traction from this particular stud pattern. So with this shoe, the idea behind the design is to create the ultimate shoe for striking the ball, both in terms of the actual performance benefits that the design has on offer, as well as the feedback that you actually experience, which for me is the main reason why you buy these. Of course, no shoe is going to make your shot more accurate. No shoe is going to make your shot more powerful. That's just not the case. Anybody who's claiming otherwise, honestly, it's a marketing gimmick. With that said, this shoe really can offer you kind of a positive feedback sensation when you strike a ball perfectly, and I'll explain why that is in just a second. There's three main elements that make this particular shoe unique. The fact that the upper is flexible, it's an Adapt-Lite microfiber synthetic, a one-way stretch synthetic that allows the upper to actually stretch. So you're gonna notice that this shoe bends backwards. That is by design. So you're gonna have these little duo flex grooves that obviously allow for flexibility this way, but it also allows the shoe to flex backwards, because if you were to strike a ball barefoot, you would definitely notice that you curl your toes, and that kind of bending of your foot in this direction actually allows you to have somewhat of a recoil effect when you actually strike through the ball. So you go to make contact with the ball, your foot you curl your toes and you kind of stiffen your foot, and then as you make contact, your foot kind of straightens out, and again, you get that kind of recoil effect. Now again, this is not going to increase the power of your shot. They were just trying to more or less, I guess as best as they could with a pair of shoes, recreate the experience of striking a ball with no shoes at all. So that's the idea behind the Adapt-Lite Synthetic, which is also a thinner material. With that said, you also have AccuFoam padding, which is kind of difficult to see on this particular shoe, but all these little embossed areas, that's kind of the low point of the synthetic, the normal thickness, and then all the raised spots is actually AccuFoam padding. So this is a thin memory foam material that basically runs through the entirety of the upper, and it provides somewhat of a dampened sensation. And really what Puma found from testing is that having a super thin touch on the ball, having no padding whatsoever, allows for more power in your shot, but also having a little bit of padding, some kind of a cushion sensation, allows for better accuracy. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds in this particular shoe. It feels thin, but it's not overly thin, if that makes any sense. There's a very slight dampened effect to it. It kind of takes the edge off of what would otherwise be a super, super thin shoe. And the end result is a great striking experience. The touch on the ball is very, very good. I wouldn't really describe this as a super thin synthetic material, but something that I really, really like. I guess kind of the closest thing you could get from that I guess I would compare to something like a CTR 360 Maestri 1 or 2. So for those that were really big fans of that shoe, this kind of reminds me of that to a certain extent in regards to the thickness of the upper. So that's definitely something worth keeping in mind. The other kind of final element as far as striking the ball is concerned is that sole plate. So you have the gradual stability frame is what they call it, where it gradually gets more and more flexible from heel to toe. So the heel is the stiffest, the midfoot not quite as stiff, and then the forefoot very stiff. It's made from a Pebax material, and that's what allows the shoe to bend backwards. It's kind of difficult to do when I'm actually holding the shoe in my hands, just because I don't have the weight of my entire body, and obviously your foot's going to be pretty strong when it is clenching to strike the ball. But really, when you strike the ball perfectly, you're going to get that sensation of the shoe bending backwards. You get that recoil effect as the ball leaves your foot, and it's like I said, kind of that feedback of, oh my gosh, I struck the ball as good as I possibly could have. You're not going to notice it with every single strike, but when you hit the ball really, really cleanly, again, you get that kind of reinforcement, that instant feedback that you can feel with the shoe on your foot, that you did something as good as you possibly could have. So to a certain extent, it's kind of a training element, I would kind of describe it as, but again, something that I think is a very rewarding feature that I really can't explain, or really can't that you can't really replicate from any other shoe, is the best way to put it. So if that's something that sounds really interesting to you, then the evoPOWER 1.3 is a very, very solid option. A couple other features on the shoe. Obviously, it does have an off-center lacing system, leaving you with a little bit of a cleaner striking surface across the main kind of striking point on the foot itself. You do have the grip texturing, which is these kind of little clear lines that you see running through the upper. Really don't provide all that much grip on the ball. You have a little bit of a reinforcement layer right here around the forefoot toe box area. They're obviously in the high wear zones for durability reasons. Never really had any issues in regards to durability with this shoe. You have the standard low cut at the back, which I guess is unexciting by today's standards, but honestly, very comfortable. And again, they made it as low as possible for the sake of giving you that kind of barefoot striking ability. They don't want it to have any restrictiveness. Even this heel area is super, super flexible. There's not a lot of structure here. You have an internal heel counter, but this, again, lots of flexibility. So in comparison to other shoes, I guess I would compare the low cut aspect almost to something like a Mercurial Vapor 11, if that makes any sense, in terms that it is very, very low. The inside heel liner is nicely padded and has this kind of hex pattern with a little bit of grip texturing to it, which is really nice. The insole is fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. Features a mesh liner on top, single layer of this thin white foam, and then you have added kind of perforated yellow foam in, I guess, little inserts in the forefoot toe area, and then of course under the heel. So pretty decent insole overall. The sole plate we talked about, Pebax material, gradual stability frame, the duo flex zones here that allow for really good flexibility of the shoe in general. And then the stud pattern, which is very good when it comes to traction, but again, the focus of the design is actually transferring energy and having optimal traction when striking the ball. So you're going to notice that you have a combination of bladed and conical studs, and that is by design. The bladed studs are what's going to be making contact when you plant your foot to strike. So if you notice, when you plant for a strike, you generally plant on the outside of your heel. So if I was planting with my right foot, my outside of the heel would come in contact first, then you kind of teeter over to the lateral side, and you can see the actual pattern here. You would teeter over to the lateral side, and then as you kind of come up through your follow through, you teeter back over to the medial side, and then eventually teeter back over to the tip of your toe. So it's kind of this motion like this, which is actually pretty accurate when you're striking a ball. And you'll definitely notice that when you actually wear these for the first time. And then of course the conical studs in between are there for kind of all-purpose grip when you're of course not planting to shoot the ball. But traction, still very aggressive, still very good, on par with just about anything out there in my opinion. And one of the better stud patterns on the market for use on firm natural grass. Very aggressive, plenty of bite. And again, just a very good stud pattern overall, a very good shoe overall, and based on, I guess, my description, hopefully that allows you to kind of understand how unique this shoe is. Can't really compare it to anything else out there, and that's definitely a good thing, because it's always nice to have something a little bit unique in today's very crowded soccer cleat market. So if you're looking for kind of the ultimate shooting shoe, I really think that the evoPOWER 1.3 is something that you should consider. For a shoe that more or less falls into the quote-unquote power boot category, it's actually very, very light. One of the lighter options currently available, believe it or not. So I'm gonna weigh this pair for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind this is a brand new shoe in a size 9.5 US. Gonna throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at a very lightweight 6.7 ounces, the equivalent of 190 grams, under the 7-ounce mark, pretty much on par with the weight of a pair of Nike Mercurial Superfly 5s, a very different shoe in terms of how it fits and feels on feet, but again, on par in terms of weight. So if you're looking for a very lightweight shoe that does have a thinner feel in general, but at the same time is very comfortable and doesn't necessarily have the super tight fit of a lot of thin synthetic shoes in this particular category, then again, the evoPOWER 1.3 should definitely be on your radar. All right, so here is a look at the evoPOWER 1.3s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock blue laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of orange reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You see a little pop-up on screen, or there's a link down below in the description. So if you're interested, be sure to go ahead and check that out. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, honestly, out of the box, this is one of the most comfortable shoes that you can get. There's really nothing to break in. The Soleplate, because it is thin and made to be flexible, it moves very naturally with your foot. There's really no noticeable stiffness to it, which I personally am a big fan of. The upper, it does have these little flex grooves, as you can see, running throughout. The Adaplate synthetic, because it is kind of slightly elasticated from the get-go, again, it just moves super nicely with your foot, and it's just a very soft, comfortable feeling when you have these on your feet. They wrap your foot quite nicely when you pull the laces tight, given the off-centered lacing system, and the overall shape of the shoe I just find to be very comfortable. It has a snug fit, but it's not overly tight. I wouldn't really compare it to something like a Mercurial Vapor. Almost something more like a Tiempo Legend 6, I guess, in terms of just overall width. You've got a lot of width here. They're gonna be suitable for just about anybody, although they're not gonna really stretch all that much. They'll stretch a little after some wear time, but for the most part, these are gonna fit just about anybody. The only quirk to the overall fit of this shoe is the shape of the toe box area. It's not so bad on this particular pair, but it does have more of that anatomic shaping to it, where it comes to more of a point at the big toe and then kind of curves around like the natural shape of a foot. This bothers some people. I personally don't have any issues with it whatsoever. Doesn't even really take any getting used to, in my opinion, but that is something worth keeping in mind if you have tried that before from Puma and you just don't like how it feels. In regards to sizing, just like the evoSpeed line, the evoPOWERs do run a half size small. So instead of wearing my usual size 9 US, I bumped it up to a 9.5, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going a half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the Yonder Blue Puma evoPOWER 1.3s. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below or the little eye in the corner of the screen, and that'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $220 retail price. If you have any questions regarding the evoPOWER, leave them down below in the comments, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked in the description as well. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.